I caught up with Yoda at a lightsaber technology convention in the Dagobah system. The space hub was crawling with life forms of several races. I was seeking him out because he is known to be one of the wisest beings in our galaxy. Being the helpful Jedi Master that he is, he was kind enough to stop and give me a quick interview. Excuse me, Yoda. I'm so glad I ran into you. I've looked everywhere. You're a hard person to find.
Looking? Found someone you have, I would say.
Yes, I have. Let me introduce myself. My name is Mr. Catlin. I teach 7th grade math. I heard you were a pretty wise dude, so I thought I might come to you for some advice about the upcoming school year. Would you mind if I ask you a few questions?
I sense much fear in you.
Yeah, I have to admit I am a bit intimidated by you, being a Jedi Master and all, but I was hoping you wouldn't pick up on that.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
Okay, I for sure don't want to be suffering. I'll try not to be scared as we continue with this interview. Speaking of fear, I always tell my students not to be afraid to ask questions in class, especially if they don't understand something. I try to create an atmosphere where they feel comfortable sharing their ideas and being creative. What do you think about that, Master Yoda?
That face you make. Look, I so old to young eyes.
No way, Yoda. I was just asking you a question, and my eyebrows might have gone up a little bit. I hope you didn't interpret my inquisition as an insult. Anyways, let's start off by discussing some rules for the classroom. Respect is a big idea that I think represents a good classroom. What quality would you suggest students and teachers must possess?
Control. Control. You must learn control.
How insightful! You are so right. We have to learn to control our actions in the classroom. I expect my students to stay in their seat during class unless they ask permission. I also ask them to control their urge to blurt out answers without raising their hands. I can't stand it when they do that. How do you feel about speaking out of turn and what it may lead to?
If once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. Consume you it will, as it did Obi-Wan's apprentice.
Okay, yeah, totally hear what you're saying, man. I don't know this Obi-Wan dude that you're talking about, but misbehavior can definitely lead to some bad things, like infractions. Here at the middle school, teachers can give students infractions if a student receives so many. They get into worse and worse trouble. I know you like to refer to your students as young Jedi, so do you have any advice to our Jedi on how to stay out of trouble?
A Jedi must have the deepest commitment, the most serious mind.
Deep commitment and a serious mind, eh? Sounds like Jedi take on quite a load of responsibility. Here at Graves Middle, we're preparing our Jedi for high school. Responsibility is a part of becoming an individual. Responsibility means that students turn in their assignments on time and they're prepared for class with the appropriate materials. What tactic, Yoda, or method can a Jedi use to handle all this responsibility?
Use the Force. Yes.
The Force? I'm not familiar with your terminology. Could you elaborate on what the Force is?
For my ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings, so we, not this crude matter.
Wow, that's some deep stuff, Yoda. Deep stuff. By the way, side note, I'm really digging this symphony that plays along with some of your responses. Nice touch. Moving on, I've had some students tell me before that math is different for them. They've never had success and they don't believe that things are ever going to change. What do you have to say about those comments?
No different, only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
That is such great advice, Yoda. I never thought to tell them that. You're basically saying that they need to forget their past experiences in math that were bad and approach this year with a positive attitude, because Mr. Catlin's going to do everything he can to make sure that they're successful.
Hear you nothing that I say.
I'm sorry, Yoda. I heard you. I just wanted to restate your advice in a way that listeners may understand. Another issue that is common with middle school students is the fact that they are growing and changing so much during this time in their lives. We have a range of kids who haven't hit their growth spurt and are pretty short, to those who've hit it early and are towering over everybody. What do you have to say to those kids out there who don't feel like they fit in with everyone else because of their size?
Size matters not. Look at me. Judge me by my size, do you?
No, of course not. You are so right, Yoda. You're a little green thing who's totally wicked awesome. Looks aren't the important thing. We should never judge somebody based on their appearance. We should always treat people the way we ourselves would like to be treated. Speaking of which, I have to be honest with you, Yoda. I always want my students to be truthful with me. I did look at you funny earlier when we started the interview because you are kind of old and you're just old looking. I apologize. I hope you accept my condolences.
When 900 years old you reach, look as good you will not,
900 years? OMG! That's crazy! What's your secret to longevity, Master Yoda?
You must feel the force around you.
Yoda, you always know the right thing to say. You truly are a wise individual. I will try and remember these teachings as I go throughout my days as a teacher in my school.
No, try not. Do or do not. There is no try.
There you go again, with such wonderful insight. I always tell my students to try their best in everything that they attempt, but they should have the confidence to just do it. We always do a bell ringer assignment at the beginning of class. I expect my young Jedi to be in their seats working on it when the bell rings. The question may sometimes deal with things that will be talked about later in the day. I like for my students to see what's coming ahead. How do you feel about this?
Difficult to see. Always in motion is the future.
Oh, I don't claim to be able to read the future, Master Yoda. I'm just saying that I plan ahead my lessons so I can instruct my students to learn. They are expected to know many things about math and numbers by the end of their 7th grade year. Here's another question for you. If you could only give one word of advice to teachers and students to enhance their learning experience, what would that word be?
Patience!
Wow, what a wonderful characteristic to strive for. Being patient is difficult, especially when dealing with disrespectful people. There are so many things I wish to learn from you, Master Jedi.
No more training do you require. Already know you that which you need.
Are you serious? That really means a lot coming from you, Yoda. Before we go, can you impart some wisdom upon my students, or as you call him, Jedi? Just something to sum up what we've discussed here?
Yes, a Jedi's strength flows from the Force, but beware of the dark side.
I couldn't have summed it up better myself. Thank you so much for your time, Master Yoda. It really has been a treat talking to you. This has been my conversation with a Jedi Master.